philosophy is not, well, I'm going this way, I'm just going to turn around and go the other way, right?
Uh-huh.
Philosophy is, well, the seas are stormy,
Uh-huh.
the stars are invisible, the clouds are everywhere, and it's a moonless night. I got to sail the sea. Do I get a map and a compass, right? There's no, like, it's just a matter of navigation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no such thing as, well, this person's a bad person, then they changed their mind and they became a good person, right? It really is just a sense of, well, people are lost without values, they're lost without philosophy, and you give them a GPS.
Right.
And they look at that GPS and they say, oh, fuck that. That leads me into some difficult territory. That leads me into some emotionally uncomfortable things. This GPS puts me on a path that puts me in conflict with other people in my life. So then you say, GPS is bullshit, and you throw it in the ocean, right?
Uh-huh.
Or you say, well, I don't know, it seems kind of weird. I guess this thing has some value to it. Let me give it a shot, right? And then some people will go a certain distance, and then they will stop, right?
Right.
A lot of people get into philosophy until they get something that they want in life. And then they'll give up on philosophy after that,
Huh.
right? It's sort of like people who train to be Olympic athletes, right? When they stop being Olympic athletes, they stop training
Right.
that much, right? And so for a lot of people, philosophy is like, oh, cool, I got some medal. I got that job I wanted. I got married. I got bad people out of my life. Woo, I'm done, right?
Mm.
I got my medal. To hell with the rest of it, right? But philosophy is not something that gets you a prize and then you give up on it, right?
Right.
Philosophy is just the lifelong process of continuing to bring wisdom and truth and reason and evidence to yourself, and if you have so inclined, to as many people around you as you want to.
Right.
And so the idea is like, I just have to get him to change his mind. I just have to get him to reverse direction,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, when you first heard these podcasts in 2011,
Right.
how many did you have to listen to be convinced that there was some value in philosophy?
Oh, I saw well, as Jeff Berwick posted your video, the story of your enslavement, and I watched it like 12 times, and then I said, who is this guy? I have to find out who this guy is. And then I set up an account to donate, and I mean, it was like right then, I have to know more about this. Is amazing.
Okay, so
I
you
mean,
were ready for it and you were primed for it and you just started imbibing it. So you were exposed to philosophy. And I'm not obviously saying that this is there's the only philosophy, the only valuable philosophy, but this is the philosophy you were exposed to. And you were like, whoa, I didn't even know I was thirsty. I'm going to drink a lake, right?
right. Yeah.
But your boyfriend was also exposed to philosophy through you, right? With
Right.
somebody who was already blazing the trail, with somebody who'd already showed the positive effects, with somebody who was always already reaping the rewards, right? And so he was exposed with more support to exactly the same information that you were exposed to, right?
Right.
And what did he do? Our first, people's first reactions are almost always their destiny, their final destination. Almost always. It doesn't mean 100%. I get a few emails from people who were like, oh, this was like the most annoying, terrible thing in the world. Because, and then they like, well, but I kept listening, I gritted my teeth, and then I finally got it, and, you know, whatever, this is great. I mean, I get, Mike, how often do you get those? I get maybe one or two a year.
It's not too often. Hardly ever.
So how many do you get a year?
One, I think, that I can recall.
Okay, so I don't know, off the top of my head, I don't know what we're doing, couple of million shows a month, so let's just
Between
say
3.5 and 4, conservatively, per month.
okay, between that's just from our
Mm-hmm.
side, not counting the radio,
Yep.
not counting other people's shows, not counting Joe Rogan's websites
Yep.
and the Zeitgeisters, and I mean, so just a couple of million. So let's just say a million people new a year, right? I mean, that's hugely conservative, but out of a million people, new listeners a year, one or two have a recoil stick with it, and get the value.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not hang a lot of egg fertility future expiration dates on 1 in a million, particularly when they're not sticking with it. Because the only people who write to us and say, I hated this stuff, then I listened, and it's the people who kept listening, right?
Right. Right. Yeah, it was weird because he would say that it was really interesting and he liked it, and he would even say to me, "Oh, do you have any Steph? Let's put Steph on in the car." And he would claim to like it, but then often it was like then he would attack me later, right, by saying, "You're so intense. You're heavy all the time. Why can't you lighten up?" So
so he really wasn't so good with the thinking part, right?
right.
Intense.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Am I a laser? Are you moonlight? What does this even mean? You're intense. You're heavy. Well, yes, gravity works on me as well, although fortunately not my boobs. But what does that even mean?
Right.
I mean, you're heavy, intense, and not lighty enough-y. And it's like, yes, and you're pretty. So not so much with the talking, pretty boy.
Well, and I as I
Please tell me he was pretty.
well, I don't know. I mean, I have a friend who doesn't think so, and I mean, he wasn't ugly, but he wasn't particularly, like a handsome guy. I don't know.
So, wait. For 10 years,
You
you
met
put
him.
out for dumb and ugly?
You met him.
Did I?
Yeah, he took our photograph.
Oh, of course. I didn't put two and two together. 10 years. Wow.
Yeah. That.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's like average, I guess.
Yeah. And old.
Yeah. 10 years older than me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel safe talking about him because I'm a continent away and he can't hear me anymore out of one bad
He
ear or
won't
something.
be listening, I guarantee you. He won't be listening. He actually said when he walked out on me, he said, "You're going down the path of philosophy and reason and logic, and I don't want to go down that path. I want to be dumb and silly." So I
Is that what he said?
yeah.
I can grant him his wish. It's magic.
Yeah. So it couldn't be more clear to me than that. Part of me was angry that, like, why did it take him so long to tell me that? But he did tell me.
No,
I know.
you're not putting it on him. Oh no, you didn't just say, but why did it take him 10 years to tell me he was shallow and dumb?
Steph, I caught myself. I said.
Okay, good.
But actually, he did tell me by his
Oh,
action.
hang on a sec. My rant, because you caught yourself, my rant is now exiting my body with a little serrated saw through my spleen. So hang on a sec.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness, it's scampering across the floor and heading for John Hurt's face. Anyway.
No, I got all the signals I needed from day one. I just chose not to listen to them.
And why?
Because I think because I have these parts that are just so freaking strong that want me to step in for some more bashing. And
the word strong that you're using there may not be something that you and I use. I have parts of me that are so strong they demand masochism to fools.
Yeah.
Strong.
Well, what would be a better word?
Do you think that's strength?
Not in a good way.
Okay, so how is strength in a bad way?
Well, if you're really strong and you punch somebody's face, that's strength in a bad way.
But no, he's punching your face.
I know.
Oh, so it's strong if you go and get like tattoos on your eyeballs or something that's incredibly painful and self-destructive. It's strong if you grit your teeth and go through it.
Well, I think what I meant was I have parts of myself that overpower rationality or the ability to to take action that would be better for me.
And so you mean parent pots?
Right. Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, it's
So,
interesting now.
sorry, go ahead.
It's been 2 months, and literally for about a week to 10 days after he left, I had some really vivid dreams where he was in them. And now, almost all of my bad dreams have gone away, except my mom contacted me in the last couple of days. And so I had a couple of dreams about her and some family stuff. But for the most part, all my bad dreams have gone away.
Right. Right. Okay. I'm still not sure why you stayed in there for 10 years.
I
mean,
know.
so maybe he was like your dad in some ways, right? And your dad didn't listen and all that. Did you have like if I break up, my parents will be proven right kind of thing?
I felt I think I had a knowingness that my ex would turn into who he really is, which is he doesn't care at all. And now I've had to hire an attorney. We built a house together, and he's basically he closed the joint savings account and took all of it, and is not wanting to split it.
Stole your money?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, and he's claiming it's not mine.
Oh my God.
Even though,
under what? Possession is 9/10 of the law defense?
well, I mean, it's sort of a little bit complicated, but basically I viewed everything as ours. I mean, I earned decent money, and so I was proud to be able to cover most of the household expenses out of my salary. So I viewed a lot of his income and as, well, would leave that in savings.
Oh, so you paid more of the bills, so he was able to save more, and then he's saying, well, that's my money now, right?
Yep, exactly.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And why? So you were also paying for him?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Why are you pausing there? Is this news to you?
Well, it varied because he had a wealthy family, so he was put on as a member of an LLC, which received distributions. So, but they were erratic. So there were times in the winter, he was a house painter, where he didn't have much work. So yeah, it was my salary that paid all the bills.
He was a house painter?
Uh-huh.
Do you mean like Michelangelo with the Sistine Chapel creating glorious works of art, or do you mean like
No.
it's one color from end to end?
Well, yeah, it's like what color do you want your fascia board and your deck railings and your siding?
Oh Lord. Oh, Polly. Oh, what are you
I know.
doing?
I know. I know.
I mean, couldn't he be like a hot broke drummer or something?
Oh, he was a drummer, Steph, but he was.
Oh no! Oh no!
But
Oh
not a successful one.
no! Listen, you don't understand. A lot of drummers only make it big in their 50s. Like a lot of people don't understand that. It takes a lot of time and a lot of work. But by the time you can barely hear anymore, you're good to go.
Okay. Well, good. Good for him. He can do that by himself now.
What? I mean, seriously. Oh my! I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh.
No.
Bad host. Bad host.
It's very.
What do you think his IQ was here?
Okay.
How long had he been a house painter?
For 20 some years.
Ah! Oh no!
But here's what happens, right?
He's like the Blob. Anyway, sorry. Go on.
Here's what happens. I did not finish high school, but I love to learn. I mean, I just devour stuff. So I'm self-educated. And
did he have abs?
At one time, but not. I'm the one.
When you met him when you were 18, he might have had abs, right? Yeah, we all had abs at 18.
Yeah, I'm the one with abs actually, but I really got into fitness, and he didn't want to do that even. But
I'm sorry. Do you mind if I know you're just complaining about shallow guys, but do you mind if I just mention something about your appearance?
Oh God. Okay, go ahead.
No, if you don't want me to, I won't. I
No,
think it's wrong.
it's
Okay.
fine.
This woman is gorgeous.
Oh my God.
No, you are. I mean, you're gorgeous.
Thanks, Steph.
And I just wanted to mention that. So, gorgeous woman, self-educated, self-starter, making good money with mouth-breathing house painter who is frightened of philosophy.
And he actually he said he was afraid of me.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where I work for a private investor who went to Harvard and Stanford, and we've talked a lot about education, and he's very sweet, and he constantly will give me articles about how formal education isn't all it's cracked up to be. And I've studied Austrian economics under his tutelage actually for a few years and read tons of material. So he jokes about me having a PhD in economics, but there's still a deep-seated, it's less now, I'm working on it, but there's still kind of a deep-seated, I don't measure up to everybody else.
No, but Polly, I mean, I think I can understand that gap. I mean, because it's true that you've been studying Austrian economics and philosophy and self-knowledge and history and all that, and listened to what I think is one of the smartest shows in the world, which is this one. But what's tragically been missing from education is how to put tape against like a baseboard so that it's straight. Right? No, because Austrian economics knocked that off in a long weekend. Like taking tape, pulling the tape, and then like putting it against stuff.
Yeah.
And then taking stuff and putting it on walls.
So see,
that's tough.
He had a bachelor's degree in fine arts. So he was articulate and he could say the right things, but he didn't do them. And I have fear about fully expressing myself and what my capabilities are. And so I felt, I need to give him the benefit of the doubt too. It's okay to have fear about really exercising your full potential, because Do
you know what's another kind of parasite, Polly?
What?
A tapeworm. Anyway. It just popped into my head.
I'm going to call him that now. The tapeworm.
Oh. No, I mean, I generally feel that most things that you can tape to a monkey's hand and have them do it are probably not a fit occupation for anybody of any intelligence, right?
Yeah, although I would say, he's intelligent, but that doesn't mean he can think.
Oh no, I get it. No, look, if you don't have wisdom, you get cunning, right?
Yes.
If you're just superficially like language-based smart, or a zeitgeister, then you get cunning instead of knowledge, instead of facts, right? And you learn to manipulate words and people instead of humbly learn about the facts of reality and reason, right?
Which he was really good at that. He always told me, we don't have to get married. We're as good as married. I mean, we built a house together. I'm totally committed to you. I hate marriage. Marriage is stupid. And then he's talking to his gay brother.
Wait, hang on. Okay, because I want to make sure I know when you're paraphrasing.
Okay.
What's his argument? Ugh, hate marriage. Marriage, stupid. Was that like, I hate marriage, marriage is stupid?
Yeah.
So, paintbrush go up, paintbrush go down. It's not stupid. Marriage is dumb. Frighten Ugh. Ugh, frighten. Ring, where ring come from? Where ring go? Don't know. Paintbrush go on wall. Color change. Ugh, happy. Money. Take steel. Ugh, marriage. Involve buildings. Buildings that I might want to paint. Ugh, I mean, my God. I mean, this is. Are you serious?
Yes, and I'm so embarrassed. So yes.
Ugh's perspective strangely truncated.
So here's what he would do to placate. So he's talking to his gay brother, on the phone, and an initiative passed in our state that allows gay marriage. So he's talking to his brother and telling him how wonderful marriage is, and marriage is so great, and it's so wonderful. And he got off the phone, and I was flabbergasted. I said, "I'm sorry, I'm confused. How do I know when you're blowing smoke up my ass or when you're telling me the truth?"
But Polly!
Which is it?
Polly, no, Ook speak with two faces?
I know. And then he said,
Whatever face necessary, Ook make.
And then he said, "You're fucking crazy." And then...
Who said you're fucking crazy?
Yeah.
Who said that?
My ex said that to me.
So at least he elevated the discussion to "you're fucking crazy."
Right. But see, this...
I think that's
right.
I can't believe that. I don't know who you're insulting at this point. I just feel like this is like shooting an arrow. You're like shooting an arrow up into the sky saying, "Got the cloud." It's like, "Hey, what's coming down?" Ah! Right.
I know, and this is the thing. So I put up with this. And what
No, you didn't put up with it.
Why?
No, I put up with taxes. I don't bang the tax man.
Okay. So what?
You had sex with this. You lived with this. You paid for this.
I know. Why? I mean, like, oh.
I don't know. I can imagine your walls were pretty.
Oh, God.
Maybe like wax on, wax off gives you great kung fu. Maybe paint up, paint down makes people expert with the clitoris. I have no idea. I mean, there had to be some reason.
No, it didn't. We had sex like once a month.
Ah!
So
That wasn't even me. That was my scary
there was
reasons.
like,
Anyway.
There was sexual abuse in my history, so I wanted to work through some stuff around that, and so that was difficult. Yeah, I feel it's hard not to self-attack, actually, to feel pretty idiotic about having spent... That's a lot of years I can never get back.
Right. And of course, I mean, you're not even halfway done your life. The purpose, of course, is to try to prevent recurrence, right?
Yeah, and I feel, at this point, I feel pretty strongly that this will never happen to me again, based on...
Why? No, Polly, here's the question. Why you call the Steph bot?
When? Earlier? Like years ago?
Yeah, maybe. Something like that. Why call the Steph bot?
Because I knew that you would tell me the truth, which was, you better get the fuck out of there as fast as you possibly can.
Oh, that's not my truth. How many times have I told people to leave relationships?
0.
Well, it's actually once in...
okay. Yeah, I should rephrase that. You would ask me questions which would elicit the response in my own mind that would be the wisest thing I could do.
This is not a guy, I think, that's worth being close to unless you are, in fact, a wall.
I think you're right.
So why... I mean, saying you didn't call me because you didn't want to hear what I have to say is kind of tautological, right?
I was afraid. I was really afraid
of what?
That financially, I wasn't sure, especially 4 or 5 years ago even, I wasn't sure how I would make it. I don't have anything to do. I'm not close with my family. My family's not financially able to help anyway. So it felt like I felt like I was trapped. And
okay. I'm not a mathematician, but you were talking about 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
You found the show 2011. It is now 2014.
Yeah.
Hang on, carry the 2. Let me just take my shoes off here.
No.
That would be 3 years ago. So I think it's wonderful that you're telling me why you didn't call me before you knew me.
True.
But if you could, if you could perhaps talk about the time after you had found the show, that would be helpful.
Right. Well, yeah, I was afraid of how defensive parts of myself would be about hearing difficult truths, and then what happens is I hear something, I know it's true, and then I'm like, oh my God, what do? I have to do something.
Yeah.
And
So go ahead.
Financially, well, based on my education too, I've worked a lot of different jobs, and so my income has gone up and down from a lot of money to hardly anything. And throughout this time, I've always had horses, and they are like my kids. I mean, I will work.
All right, I have to stop you.
Okay.
I apologize.
Okay.
It's like Volume 1, story time to distract Steph from the real question.
Okay.
I have horses. That's why I couldn't call you. My income went up and down. That's why I couldn't call you.
Okay.
I mean, you're paying for a guy who stole your money, and you're telling me there's some financial reason you couldn't call me?
Yeah, the only
So,
thing
you have reduced me to growling.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm Oog.
All right.
That's not good.
I will tell you why you didn't want to call me or why you didn't call me.
Okay.
All right. You desperately wanted to call me.
Yes.
Who in your life did not want you to call me?
My ex.
Uh-huh. You said that earlier you said, based on your history, it makes complete sense. You said that you don't even know sometimes that you have needs in relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and look, I get this. I mean, my childhood was rough, not quite as rough as yours, but I think it was only in my late 20s, maybe, where I sort of said, you know what, I should actually have a couple of needs in these relationships.
Right.
I should have some preferences, and that was really quite a life-changing situation. I mean, the degree to which we serfs are trained out of preferences is chilling. It's like our souls are just evacuated and replaced with giant levers only operable by assholes. But my concern is that compliance is your challenge, right? Because in your primary relationships, which is almost like taking the word relationship and taking a deep shit on it, but your primary relationships were all about conforming out of terror and abuse to the needs of other people, right?
Right.
And so your boyfriend did not want you to call the show, right? You said, hey, let's call together, which would have been fun.
Right.
No, because I would have spoken to you and I would have, I don't know, sent cave paintings to him or something that he could, follow along, like a C-spot, manipulate good people kind of thing. A pop-up book of some kind, which would be like a Stooges poke to the eyeballs. But anyway, so my concern is so if you've not identified, what I think is the pattern, which is that you comply with the lowest common denominator around you, which we all do. Look, don't get me wrong. This is why it's so important to choose your tribe wisely. Right. We conform to the tribe. We are social animals. Mm-hmm. We are dogs, not cats. Right. Or horses, if you like. They run in herds, right?
Yes.
So you will conform to the lowest common denominator of whoever is around you, which is why you can't have a lowest common denominator. You can't say, I'm going to have 10 great people to my dinner party and one loudmouth farting drunk who calls everyone a fucking asshole and throws a beer bottle at the wall, right?
Right.
And then paints it. Because you're going to have a shitty dinner party if there's one asshole there, right?
Right.
So you can't have dum-de-dum great people, I'll dip my standards hugely, and then dum-de-dum great people, right? We will always conform and comply to the lowest common denominator around me, which is why I don't allow people of low quality around me. I just don't, and it's not, sometimes I'd like to.
Yeah.
Because, it seems like a kind of an effort keeping the giant containment mothership of security in my life.
Right.
But I know that because I was raised compliant to crazy, I can't do crazy. I can't be around crazy. I can't do it.
Right.
You know, like when they say once an addict, always an addict.
Sure, sure, sure.
Well, it's the same thing. Like I think the Toxic Twins from Aerosmith, Steve Tyler and Joe Perry, you know, basically snorted most of Peru up their nose in the 70s and so on. Like when they got clean, like they couldn't be around anything.
Right.
Drugs, drinking, anything. Like, you know, cough syrup, they just hacked their lungs out instead, right? For like 20 or 25 years. I think that Tyler now says he can maybe have a beer, a beer after like decades.
Right, that
Right?
makes complete sense to me.
So this is really important. If you've been raised in compliance to crazy, you can't have crazy people around you.
Right.
You can't have people around you who might be crazy at some point in the future. That's literally like, imagine if I said I was a heroin addict for 20 years, from 15 to the age of 35.
Right.
Now I'm going to go and move in with someone who is a raging heroin addict and doesn't want to quit, but talks about maybe going to some meetings at some point in the future. What would people say?
You're crazy. You're setting yourself up for total failure. So, based on that information, I look back and think, okay, so if I had been able to realize that, which I think I did on some level, what do you just say to somebody, you know what, I've been thinking, and you're not good for me, so let's split up. I mean, that's why I was curious about your relationship of 7 years. I mean, when you were doing a lot of therapy and growth and journaling, how did it, I mean, it's just difficult for me to understand when two people come together out of complete and total dysfunction and one person realizes, yes, this is not good, things need to be different, and the other person is pretty clearly saying, I like that how it was, what do you do?
I just missed the last part of the last question. I got it, but I didn't quite get it. If you can just repeat it. So when one person's growing, the other person's not.
Yeah, when one person,
what do you do?
Yeah, how is that resolved? Like,
but I think, I mean, I mean, I don't understand what the question is.
Well,
I mean, I don't understand how that's a question. One person is growing, and another person is steadfastly resisting that growth and opposing it and insulting that person for growing.
Right.
I mean, to ask that question is to answer it, isn't it?
Right. So he's the one who blew up he left, but I hadn't yet made that choice to say, okay, we're done.
Right, because you can't have people like that in your life at all, in my opinion.
No, I can't. In fact,
so once they're in there, then that's why you can't have them in your life. Right? It's like the heroin addict can't go around hanging around with people who are doing massive amounts of heroin right there in front of him, and he can't go to opiate dens, and he can't, join up with gangs to break into pharmacies and say, well, no, I'm going to stay clean. I'm just going to hang around this whole heroin environment, right?
Right.
So this is what, like, the fact that you were 10 years in should give you the necessary humility to say, I can't manage crazy people.
Right.
And do you know why you can't manage crazy people?
Because I was raised by crazy people.
That's half of it. The other half, Polly, is nobody can.
Oh.
Nobody can manage crazy people.